All right, everybody, welcome to Module 1, Building Your Social Media Foundation. We're going to cover some really basic overarching things. So no matter where you fall, whether you're, hey, I don't understand social media, I don't know where to start, to, hey, man, I'm already a social media pro, I'm getting leads online already, there will be something here for all of you. So I encourage you, no matter where you fall under that spectrum, to watch these classes, take notes, and listen to the kind of things that we're teaching, because we're coming from many different industries. You know, we come from marketing, we come from entrepreneurship, we come from e-com, we come from a lot of different areas outside of the real estate space that are more advanced with marketing and technology. And we want to bring a lot of those teachings into the real estate market. And that's where you're going to get a lot of our expertise is kind of this outside perspective. So what we're going to do here with Module 1, we already talked about developing our lead funnel in the About video. So the lead funnel is going to be a little bit more on Module 2, but Module 1 is very important because what we're going to do is we're going to kind of get our baseline. And what I mean by the baseline is we're going to look at where you are right now in your social media lead generation journey. And we'll do that with a really easy scale from 1 to 10 to decide, hey, I don't even know where to start. I might not have any social media accounts. I might be posting infrequently with no direction, all the way up to, hey, I've got a social media team that works for me under my brokerage. We're doing multiple posts a day. We have a solid strategy already. We want to get that baseline down to decide where you're at so that you can get the most out of these next couple of classes because you understand where you're starting from. We're also going to talk about a couple key elements like what platforms should you be on? What are some tools that you can use to make your life way easier when we're developing these strategies? And these tools are really important because we're going to keep bringing them up over the next couple of modules because they will really make your life that much easier. You don't have to hire a full team of staff to do a social media strategy anymore. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars a month to do something like that. We got some great tools that are available through us with the power of AI that can really, really make a social media strategy attainable for somebody of any skill level. So we're going to brush on that. We're going to talk about what social media platforms you should be on. And we're also going to talk about where do you lie on your social media journey right now. So I want to bring up this phrase, social agent, and you're going to hear this phrase come up a lot over these next couple of modules. You'll definitely hear my business partner, Mark, and I talk about it. It's kind of a phrase that we coined ourselves. And what this represents is the modern agent, the agent who understands the influence of social media. And I think social media kind of has gotten a bad rap, especially in the real estate community, because we tend to be a little bit behind on new technology. We tend to follow the curve. We tend to regress to the mean. What is everybody else doing? I don't want to do something unless other agents are doing it. And the world kind of moves on past us while we try to catch up, and we try to catch up with all these new technology and these new things that are usually a couple years behind what the tech industries are doing and what other entrepreneurial ventures are doing behind real estate. So we want to be social agents. We want to be agents that are ahead of the curve, that understand how to talk to these modern audiences. And in 2024, at the time of this recording, agents aren't just having the option to be on social media. It's required. And it's not required because, oh, you need to have a lot of followers. Oh, you need to have a lead generation on a strategy. It's required because this is how people connect with other people in this day and age. Many of you guys have heard the phrase, people do business with people. It's one of the foundations of becoming a successful real estate agent. It's one of the foundations of becoming a successful business person in general. People do business with people. You might not be the smartest person in the room, but if you're the most personal, if you can make a connection, if you can solve somebody's problem, then you will always get the sale. You'll always get the listing. You'll always get the business. And people in this day and age are vetting you on social media. They're deciding if you are the kind of person that they want to work with by looking at your social media profiles, by looking at your Facebook, by looking at your Instagram. They're looking to see if you are the person that you say you are. You might have gotten a great lead from Zillow or Homes.com, and you spent all your time calling these leads that you've paid all this money for, and you finally get through to somebody and have a conversation. You can be the best closer in the world. You can be the most personable person in the world. You're always going to find somebody. The first thing they're going to do, they're going to get your name. After that phone hangs up, they're going to look you up. They're going to Google you. They're going to find you on Instagram. They're going to find you on Facebook. And if you haven't posted in 5 months, I don't know what you've been doing in those 5 months. Are you still a real estate agent? Are you working down the street at Walmart? I don't know what you're doing. You need to develop a social strategy because it lends you credibility in this day and age. And once you develop that strategy, you are a social agent. And that's what we want to work towards. So I wanted to bring up this great quote. Everybody knows Tom Ferry. He's a great influence in the real estate industry. But it's kind of this concept of sphere to social. We all know sphere. It's one of the most important concepts in becoming a new agent. Where do I start? Everybody wants to know, how do I get my first sale? What do I do? And it all starts with your sphere. It's the cheapest, it's the most effective option, and that turns into referral business, and that's how you grow your existing clientele. And I want to talk about this concept of sphere to social. How can we take this organic, I know people and they know people and they know I'm a real estate agent and that's how I build my book of business. And we're going to put that strategy that we all know well, that we've all done before, and we're going to put that online. And I think this quote really hammers home, and this is a quote, it's talking about referral business, but it really hammers home how important it can be to have these social media strategies. It says it takes 7 to 8 times more energy and money to get new clients than it does to get more business from referrals from your current clients. And 82% of customers would say that it would work with their agent again, but only 12% actually do. So let that sink in for a second. You've got this book of referral business. You're relying on your sphere. You're saying, I just get business from my sphere. That is my main way that I'm getting leads. I don't believe in paying for lead lists, which I support fully. I don't think you should pay for lead lists. That's a cheap way to do business. We're entrepreneurs here. We build business ourselves. We're not paying somebody else to operate our business for us. But relying strictly on your in-person sphere, even Tom Ferry, one of the best guys to ever do it, saying only 12% of people are actually going to do business with you again. Only 12% of those people that trust you and know you are actually going to do business with you. So how can we take that existing concept of sphere, of people that know you, that are adjacent to you, that trust you, and move that online to get more reach? And what do I mean by that? I mean, social media in and of itself is basically your digital sphere. It is a place where you can bring people in. Examples right here: friends of friends, partners, spouses, coworkers, college friends, neighbors, people that go to church with you, people that are spouses and husbands of your kids that go to school. How do you bring those people into your digital space where you can constantly remind them, not to the point of annoyance, but we call this concept staying top of mind, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. Because people aren't always thinking about you. People aren't always thinking Becky, the real estate agent. They're thinking about Becky, the person. But every now and then you want to remind them that you are Becky, the real estate agent. You can help them. So we call this concept staying top of mind. And it's important to take your sphere to social because you don't always have the opportunity to remind your sphere that this is what you do. I know so many people that are so hurt when they find somebody that they've trusted, somebody that's in their sphere, books with a different agent. And a lot of you have probably been in a situation like that before. And I see it so often that they just assumed because they were close with them. They sent them a Christmas card. Maybe they talked to them, once or twice, 3 times a year about the fact that they're an agent, that they're just going to remember that at the time they need to list, the time they need, the time they need to sell, the time that they need your services. When in reality, the agent that was posting every day online, the agent that was leveraging social media, leveraging reach, advertising themselves, they're the ones that are going to get that listing. There's the ones that are going to get that sale. And you'll get beat out every single time by these social agents. But the best agents in the world, the best agents that can leverage their sphere into their social media, that can take this aspect of friends and partners and neighbors and bring that into existing social media profiles like Instagram, LinkedIn, blogs, Twitter, Facebook pages, and then expand on that audience, they're going to be the most successful because you can stay top of mind. You're constantly reminding, you're constantly posting valuable content. What I mean by that, you're not posting content that says, hey, I'm Becky the Realtor. Remember me, I'm Becky the Realtor. No, you're posting content that people find valuable. Nobody wants to see your advertisement. Nobody is going to stop and like a headshot of you that just says, hey, reminder, I'm a real estate agent. That is a post for you. That's not a post for them. And I want you to get off of that method of thinking. I want you to stop thinking about what posts work for you and start thinking about what posts work for your customers. The minute you start thinking about that, your content gets way better. And we'll talk more about what content we can make that's more effective in later modules. But the idea of taking your sphere to your social is a core pillar of what builds your social media basics. And that's how I want you to think about it. I want you to think as social media as your digital sphere, taking your existing sphere, getting them to social media, expanding off that, following people that are friends of your friends, liking their posts, watching their stories, posting content that they are interested in that's also relevant to your expertise. That's how you build a digital sphere. That's how you become a social agent. Now, that all sounds well and good, but where are we right now? Where are we today? We talked earlier about how there's something in this class for everybody. There's something for people who have a full staff in their brokerage that are doing 3, 4, 5 posts a day. They've got a full video team. They're spending tens of thousands of dollars a month on social media, and this is the core pillar of how they do business. And there's something for people who may not have social media accounts yet. Maybe they like the idea of social media, but maybe you feel a little overwhelmed by the technical aspect of it. Maybe you're not super computer savvy, but you understand that, the game is changing and that you want to give social media a try. And I promise you that there's something for all of you in between and outside of that. This class and the classes that come after it are for your benefit. We're here on our live streams. We're here in the discussion boards to talk to you guys. And I would encourage everybody after watching these to ask questions, to engage with us. We'll always be here to answer those questions and to lend our personal advice, because everything that I do here on these classes is fairly general. But we want to talk to you guys personally to where we can give you the best advice. But to give you an idea of the spectrum of people that you're going to see in this group, in the AI Agent Academy, spectrum of people who are going to be looking to gain something from these classes, you start at your 1 to 3s. Now, what is a 1 to 3? I'll give you a hint. Most people who are 1 to 3 think they're a 5 or a 6. When you ask them, if you were going to rate yourself on 1 to 10 on how your social media strategy is, what would you say? Most people who might be posting on Instagram and Facebook because it's their platform of choice, and they're probably posting 2 times, 3, 4, 5 times a month, in no way consistent, just whenever the time hits. And they're taking that Instagram post and they're automatically uploading it to your Facebook page. And that's your social media strategy. And you might say, it's good. I've got my website on there. I've got my headshot. Everything looks professional. I've maybe got some Canva templates. I think I'm a good 5. In reality, you're starting at about a 2. And there's a lot of room for improvement there. And that's in no way means to burst your bubble. It just means that we've got a lot of opportunity to excel from there. So I feel so bad when I see people who have put that amount of effort into social media and they don't get any returns. But the encouragement that I would want to give you, if that's a situation that you're in, is you have so much further to go. And that is so much more opportunity that you have for something like this to succeed. So I don't want you to get discouraged if you're not seeing business from social media and you meet any of those criteria that I just described. Because in reality, you just haven't optimized. You haven't had somebody to teach you how to do social media correctly, how to optimize your lead funnel, how to set all these things up. So you have a lot of opportunity for growth, and this is a great place to learn how to do it. So don't get discouraged. If you're the kind of person I just described, just know that there's a lot of opportunity for you to create an effective strategy, and this is a great place for you to be. So that's kind of your 1 out of 3. You're posting sporadically. You have weak social media profiles. Maybe you only have 2 or 3 social media profiles, and the biggest thing is you're posting inconsistently. Now let's talk about 4 to 6. This is kind of your status quo, your middle of the ground. You probably noticed that we talk about websites in every single module here, and websites are so important to a social media strategy. I see so many agents who do a great job of focusing on content. They spend a ton of time and effort filming videos. They get videographers that are going to charge $300 a day to film their listings, and they put really good content out onto their Instagram page and their Facebook page, and maybe even a LinkedIn page as well. And they think that good content is going to get them leads. And they totally neglect the rest of the lead funnel. And they definitely neglect the most important part of the lead funnel, which is the bottom of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel is your website. That is your lead capture. You're going to go through all of this work, creating content, posting every day, creating a schedule, becoming a social agent. You do all this work to cultivate this audience, to create a digital sphere. And now how are you capturing them? You have an audience that wants to do business with you, and the only outlet you're giving them is to either go Google you or shoot you a DM, a direct message on your social media platforms. Both of them are not the most efficient means for your leads to get in contact with you. The path of least resistance that these leads want to take, that the people on your social media accounts want to do, is to find your website, get in contact with you. So having a website that is optimized for lead generation, that is optimized for lead capturing, is crucial to your strategy. And having that website in the links to all of your bios for your social media accounts. So that's number one, status quo. You have a website, it's inside your social media accounts, but there's no niche. We'll get really big into niche creation later. The one thing I want to say about niche right now is it's a scary word for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to listen to coaches when they talk about creating a niche because they're afraid that you're going to push away other potential leads. You're afraid if I become the first-time home buyer person, then all of your FSBOs and your divorce listings and everybody else who's outside of this first-time home buyer audience, they're not going to do business with me. When in reality, that couldn't be further from the truth. When in reality, an effective agent, a social agent, has multiple lead generation streams, each optimized for an individual audience. You're not, if you're marketing to retirees, going to create a social media lead generation strategy. You're probably going to do direct mail or in-person sponsorship. Likewise, if you have a first-time homebuyer demographic, it's a great place to use a social media strategy. So you're running all of these different social media strategies at once because you might say, hey, my market is everybody. I want retirees, first-time homebuyers, downsizers, upsizers, everybody in between. Well, great. You got to have 3 or 4 different lead generation channels for each of those niches, and you got to manage all of them. And that is totally doable, and people do that. But you got to understand that the more general you are on one specific lead generation platform, whether that be social media, whether that be sponsorship or in-person mail or whatever method of lead generation that you do, you need to have a niche for each of those because they are not created equal. So creating a niche is definitely something that we will talk about in the upcoming modules, but just to brush over how important that is, I wanted to say that. Posting consistently. This is our first chance where we meet the status quo, where we now have a consistent posting strategy. And we set the bar at every day. And every day scares a lot of people, where you're saying, oh my gosh, posting every day. That's going to scare away a lot of people. I know if I saw somebody's content every day, I would unfollow them. I don't want to be overwhelmed with that. I don't want to see Becky the realtor every day. Well, I have good news, really good news. We talk about how fast social media changes. And I don't mean social media changes, every 10 years, 15 years, 30 years. I'm talking social media isn't the same game as it was 365 days ago. It changes fast. And the algorithms want you to be posting. And not only that, the algorithms understand that there is a balance between, hey, we want as many people to post as possible, but we don't want people's audiences to be overwhelmed by them posting. So what do the Instagrams and Facebooks of the world do? They say, okay, well, we want Becky the realtor to be posting every single day. We don't want Becky the realtor's followers to be overwhelmed. So we're going to show about 20% of her followers these posts. Now, this happens whether you're posting once a month, once a week, or 4 times a day, every day. This is always going to happen. So you might as well post every single day because that's only going to make us stay top of mind better. That's only going to give us better chances of reaching our audience and to reaching a new audience and growing our following. So staying consistent, posting every day, having a strategy, that is the status quo. Do you have your website in your bio? Are you posting every day? Are you on multiple social media platforms? That is the status quo. That is what you should shoot for to get to at least a 5 out of 10. And that's what we're going to help you guys attain, because it is very attainable to at least get to that level. And there is opportunity to get business there. You don't have to be a 10 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 to build a social media lead generation strategy. You just got to get past being left behind and at least get to the status quo. And we can do that with a lot of these tools and a lot of the methods that we're going to teach today. We'll go to the one extreme where we see a 10 plus. 10 plus are the people that are spending $30,000 a month on social media. They have people on staff, they have professional videographers. They're not only posting every single day across multiple platforms, they're posting 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 times a day. Sometimes they might even have multiple accounts with similar names on the same platform. This is a true 10 plus. This is somebody whose book of business is entirely built off social media. This is probably a brokerage. This is an influencer. This is a coach. This is somebody who's building hundreds of thousands of followers a month. It is extremely expensive. It requires a full-time crew, and it is absolutely not something that you have to be to play this game. I just want you guys to understand why we want to getting to a 5 out of 10 is good enough, because when you look at a true 10 out of 10, it is a monumental task. But talking to that 7 to 9, there might be a lot of people in here that'll say, you know, I have a social media strategy. I have a website. You know, I feel like I'm a good 5, 6 out of 10. So how do I get to that 7 to 9 range? And that's a great question. So the first thing is we want to have that optimized website. We want to make sure we're looking at your website and we're saying, is this website optimized for people in my lead generation funnel? When they find this website, it should be as easy as possible for them to get in contact with me. A really literal version of this is the first thing that somebody sees on your website needs to be your contact form. It needs to be your phone number and your email. You should always have your phone number and your email in literal text, because sometimes those submission forms don't work for everybody. They might have a pop-up blocker. They might be on mobile. You should always have it in literal text. When you look at your website needs to be absolutely optimized for this particular situation. It's not optimized for people to find your website organically, which is called SEO. It's optimized for people who find you from your social media top of funnel that you've cultivated over time, that are now ready to take the next step with you. That's an optimized website. Are you presenting on all social media accounts? Are you active on Facebook? Are you active on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram? Are you creating unique content for each of those? So when we say daily posting, you're daily posting a unique post for Facebook, a unique post for Instagram, unique tweets, because each of those platforms are different. And it's not just, hey, I'm going to post the same thing on Instagram because it lets me automatically upload it to Facebook. That's not the same thing. Facebook is different than Instagram. You need to have 2 different posts for it. That's a true 7 to 9. And that's where you can work for if you feel like you're kind of meeting that status quo and you want to take your game to the next level. Maybe get to posting twice a day. Post twice a day on all your social media accounts. Maybe tweak your website a little bit. Tweak your headings, tweak your copy in your bios. How can we optimize your profiles for your niche? Niche building is a huge part of a 7 to 9. Are your social media channels optimized for my particular niche that I'm advertising for? So now that you guys understand the scale, let's talk a little bit about what platforms you should be on. And the easiest way to talk about this is, if you're just starting out, pick 2. Just pick 2. Pick the 2 you're most comfortable with, whether that's Facebook and Instagram or LinkedIn and Twitter. Just pick the 2 that you are comfortable with. The last thing we want to do is have somebody come in here who's really excited about social media but might feel overwhelmed, and now you're trying to juggle 4 different social media accounts at once. And I don't want to be the guy to tell you that you have to do that, because you absolutely don't. Start small, understand what you don't understand, and build from it, and we'll help you. So find the 2 accounts that you're most comfortable with. And you might have all 4 of these, but you might not have posted on them consistently. But let's take the time to focus on 2 so that we can really nail a strategy that we can maintain. And then we'll talk about bringing the other 2 in. We'll talk about introducing LinkedIn. We'll talk about introducing Twitter to your strategy. So the first thing you need to do on your social media journey, if you haven't already mastered all of these, is pick the 2 that you're most comfortable with. Start deploying some of these teachings that we're going to teach over the next couple modules to those 2 platforms. And then once you've done that successfully, come back and start introducing the other 2 into your strategy. Now, you saw that TikTok and Snapchat aren't on here. TikTok and Snapchat kind of have their own unique value propositions. They're not as valuable from a lead generation standpoint as these four main social media platforms. By all means, if you are comfortable on TikTok, if you are comfortable on Snapchat, if that's where your digital sphere exists, you can do that. And a lot of the teachings that we're going to have in these next modules will apply to TikTok and to Snapchat. You might just not hear us directly reference them. So don't feel like you're excluded. If that's where you live on social media, just understand that you might have to read in between the lines a little bit, because we're mainly going to be focusing on these four for the purposes of these classes, but definitely value there for you guys that are on TikTok and Snapchat. So let's talk about some of these tools that we have available. This is the last thing we're going to talk about before ending Module 1. A lot of this strategy might seem really daunting. You know, you've got the technical aspect of, man, I have to understand social media. I have to understand what to click and where to go and what to post and algorithms and things like that. And on top of that, I have to make the time during my already busy schedule to create posts. And now on top of that, you're telling me, Kyle, that I have to post every single day? And I can't just post the same thing on Instagram as I can on Facebook? That's really scary. And that's a lot of time. And the one thing that we want to do is not take up a lot of time. Social media strategies don't have to be crazy time consuming to be effective. Absolutely not. There's a lot of misconceptions. You know, real estate agents are such hustlers. And I love that. That's in the best way possible. I mean, you guys get up, grind, you're calling people from sun up to sundown, you're absolutely putting the work in. And I think there's a lot of preconception that you have to work hard at something for it to be effective. And that is absolutely true. But I don't want you guys to think that something that might make your job a little easier won't make it as effective. You know, I could beat a nail in with a rock and it'll do the same job as a hammer. But I much rather use a hammer, if that makes sense. So that's where AI comes in. AI is going to do the same job that you would be able to do. It'll just do it faster, better, more time efficient, which is at the end of the day going to save you time so that you can get back to doing what you do best, which is all the other jobs that a real estate agent does every single day. Because guess what? You're not a social media manager. The goal of these classes is not to teach you how to be a social media manager. It's to teach you how to be a social agent. And social agents don't spend 3 hours a day managing their social media content. They spend 8 hours a day being real estate agents. So how do we put the time back in your hand without making you manage social media for 4 hours a day? And we do that using AI, but more specifically, we use it doing real estate specific AI. Now, when we say AI, probably a lot of you guys think about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a long language model that's very popular right now. It's built by a company called OpenAI, and it talks to you like a human, and it does some pretty incredible things. And the capabilities that ChatGPT has are genuinely incredible. Some of the aspects of ChatGPT are it's incredibly time efficient. A lot of you guys might have used prompt packages before and seen just how fast it can create blogs, how fast it can create certain text-based documents, even listing descriptions. But it is very broad. If you notice why you have to use prompt packages is because you kind of have to teach ChatGPT to be an expert in real estate before you can ask it something. We call that prompting. We call it, how can I give ChatGPT context before I start asking it for information? Because ChatGPT is kind of broad. It's very, very broad. And at the end of the day, it's very hard to master. It's an extremely competent program that's very vast, that can accomplish extremely complicated tasks in any industry. But something that's that broad is very hard to master. It takes a lot of time to understand how to prompt something correctly to get the best outputs out of it. So, you know, if you're trying to use ChatGPT, you're going to spend the same amount of time learning how to use it properly as you would spend just doing the task yourself. You know, so if you're trying to use ChatGPT to say, hey, I want to write optimized captions, To really get optimized social media captions and listing descriptions and all the things that we know ChatGPT can do, it's going to take a lot of time, hundreds of hours for it to really get to the point where it's creating a true optimized caption. And contrary to that, we have real estate agents, where real estate agents are experts. They're personal. They're specific to the task. They understand the real estate space, unlike ChatGPT. But there is not the time efficient aspect of it, where agents don't have as much time. They don't have unlimited time like ChatGPT does. So we kind of took those two aspects and we said, how can we make a product for real estate agents that has the power of ChatGPT, but the expertise of real estate agents? And that's where we developed a product called realestatecontent.ai. Now, realestatecontent.ai is a tool that I recommend to everybody. It's a tool that we've been building over the last couple of years. It is a phenomenally powerful real estate specific tool. Think ChatGPT, but specifically for real estate agents and specifically for building a social media strategy. Now, owning realestatecontent.ai, buying a subscription is not mandatory for these classes, but I do highly, highly recommend it because we are going to be building a lead generation funnel using outputs from realestatecontent.ai. So it will make your life significantly easier if you have it, if you can follow along, and you will see success doing it if you kind of listen to everything that we're teaching you. The other thing that makes realestatecontent.ai so great is just the time savings without really diving into the knowledge, where you might be the agent who is that 1 to 3 and say, hey, I don't have the time to understand how to post on every single platform. I hear you, Kyle. I know you want me to post on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that, but I just straight up don't know how. I don't know how to navigate those. I'm uncomfortable there. I know I should be there, but just me taking the time to learn out of my schedule is preventing me from creating a lead generation strategy on that platform. And realestatecontent.ai is really going to help you if you're in that position, because it understands all of the algorithms. It's going to create captions for you that are optimized for Instagram, for Facebook, for Twitter, for LinkedIn. It's going to create images for you that you can use if you don't have any other images to replace them with. If you're the kind of person that says, hey, I already have images, I might have pictures of listings, I might have videos that I've shot myself, I might have reels that I've shot, this is a great product for you too, because it's going to create an optimized caption for you based on a topic that you give it. And then you can come in here and replace an AI generated image with the picture or the video that you've already created. What truly makes AI content effective is its ability to understand you, understand what makes you unique. You might be an agent who's been in the game for 30 years and you want to convey that to your clients. Well, this realestatecontent.ai is going to use that information. It's going to convey that into your captions so it sounds like you, so it understands who your target customers are. But it's also going to use its information about what's relevant in social media, what makes good social media captions, what makes good social media SEO, to write captions that are perfect for your social media strategy. Now, there's a lot left to go in a social media lead generation funnel than just content. You guys heard me talk about that earlier, where you might be the agent who's going to spend hundreds of dollars a month creating very, very good content, hoping that it will get you leads. But that doesn't happen. Realestatecontent.ai is content. Realestatecontent.ai alone will not get you leads. And I want everybody to understand that. There is no content in the world, no matter if you're spending $99 a month on realestatecontent.ai to get unlimited content directly posted to all your social media accounts, or if you're spending $3,000 a month on a professional video team. There's no amount of content, any quality in the world that is solely going to get you leads. It's what you do with that content. It's the engagement. It's the lead funnel that you create. It's the website that you have to capture. It's the posting strategy that you have. All of those things together is what creates a social media lead strategy. Content is the tip of the spear. It is the most important part. And using tools like this are going to get you immediately into fighting shape. this is going to get you in a position right away to where you can say, hey, I'm posting every single day, and I know I'm posting pretty good content because I'm using AI. Likewise, if you have a team that you're paying $3,000 a month for, you have a great start. You can say, hey, I know I have really good content because I spend all this money to shoot premium content. I can post it every day because I have enough to, I make 30 posts a week or 30 posts a month. So I know I can post every single day. That person's also in a really good position. They're just spending more money. So if you're the kind of person who says, hey, I want to start a social media lead generation strategy and I want to go through all of this time and effort to try to build leads on social media, but you don't have enough content to post every day, you're not even going to be in fighting shape, then I would really encourage you to look at AI content like this to help you, because it's not going to be worth building that funnel, building that website, and really understanding how to create a social media strategy if the most important part of the lead generation strategy isn't there for you. So I need you to make a decision before module 1 ends. You can write it down in your notes. How am I going to create content? Because we know the goal is we want everybody posting every single day, at least on 2 accounts that you favorite. So you can say, okay, I want to take the time. I want to take a couple hours a day, every day, to focus on posting optimized content. I'm going to learn it and I'm going to do it effectively. Or I'm going to use AI to help me do things more time efficiently so I can focus on the funnel. Or I have the budget to go find a really top-notch team to create fantastic content, and I want to start from there. And all 3 of those are viable. I just want you guys to understand the time commitment or the monetary commitment that comes with each of those. So make your decision, decide how you want to start, how you want to build your foundation. Decide what platforms you're most comfortable with to start. Figure out, hey, where do I sit in that scale of 0 to 10? Where do I start? What questions do I need to ask? These are all things that you guys should be taking notes of for module 1. These are questions that you guys should ask in the discussion boards that we can absolutely answer with you when we do our weekly live streams. These are things that you guys can come and ask questions with us live. We'll answer them one-on-one. So when you complete module 1, just have these ideas in your head. And then when you roll into module 2, you'll have a much better foundation to build our lead strategy on. That's it for module 1. You guys now know why we built realestatecontent.ai, what it does for people. You know what we're going to be talking about for module 2 when we start talking about building this lead generation funnel. Guys, it's not just going to be about AI. These concepts work for any method of creating content. We're just trying to give you the tools that we think are the most time efficient for busy real estate agents. So I don't want you to feel left out when we're using tools like this for the next couple of modules and we're building lead generation funnels using these tools. I want you guys to know that these are available to all of you. They're affordable. It's going to post 1,850 times a year. Even if you close at 0.001%, it'll pay for itself. One deal pays for itself. We're going to be using it. I want you guys to know that this is available to you. But likewise to that, I want you to know that there's other methods of doing this, whether it's you're the do-it-yourself kind of person or you're the, hey, I just want to pay a full-service agency and forget about it person. There's going to be something here for all of you guys. In Module 2, we're talking about building that next step of the funnel. How do we go from top of funnel to cultivating those leads? That's what's up next for Module 2. Drop all your questions in the discussion board. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait to talk to y'all. Thank you.